top 4. $10,000 prize divided amongst the top 4, which we will talk about in a little bit here. We got Rom and Ivan. Let's see how this one plays out.
It's going to be a very intense match. He's going in with the Princess in the back. And then a Lava Hound right already in the beginning. This is going to be a very intense match.
Princess doing princess things.
That's exactly right.
Okay, let's see how this one plays out here. He's going to definitely pressure that opposite lane because if you just let the Hound build up, that just wouldn't make sense.
And with that Ice Spirit freezing the tower, that Hog's going to get more than one hit off. 2 hits off, and that is a value Hog Rider.
Also takes the Mega Minion away from the Hound push.
What a value log. Takes out the Princess and disables the Ice Wizard for a couple seconds, so that Hound doesn't do quite as much damage. It's going to pop soon, but a Miner is still up. Pup gets 1 hit on the tower, that's 500 health off, but that Hog Rider push from RomK did more damage than that Lava Hound push altogether.
Yeah, even though it doesn't have arrows or something for the pups, Ice Wizard Mega Minion really takes it out well.
Even better that Ice Wizard clips some of the skeletons, so that Hog Rider's going to get 2 hits off again.
Wow.
Shaving off 1,000 damage in under 1 minute, or a little bit over 1 minute. So,
hey, it's all the same in OJ time. Okay, clear battlefield. Let's see who gets what into the arena first. We still haven't seen the last 2 cards. You have to assume there's a couple spells in Rom's hand.
There's a very high chance that his opponent has a Lightning in that Lava Hound deck. It just makes so much sense to have that, especially if they're expecting an Inferno Tower.
Yeah, or Minions or Minion Horde maybe
Mega
that he's
Minion.
saving for, because he's got the Mega Minion already shown, but generally there's 2 air support cards for Lava Hound decks, but it could be not. The Tombstone hasn't come out yet. The Hog's going straight to the tower. He doesn't care. He drops the Lightning.
That Hog is going to get demolish that tower right there with no Tombstone in play. It's going to get 1 more hit, takes down the tower. Lava Hound doesn't do much damage, but the Miner comes in to support the Lava Pups right now.
I think they're just going to trade towers there, yep.
That was a very aggressive push on both of their parts.
Oops, and well played. Princess Ice Wizard just to make sure the King Tower is safe. Now it's a different game. Now we can see the Hound be deployed on to Rom's side. But Ivan elects to put it on his side a little bit closer up.
It's kind of interesting because if he can cycle back to the Lava Hound, he can have the Lava Hound tank for the Lava Pups.
Yeah, we saw that last round, or last group. That was pretty crazy. It's like the ultimate tank.
Ice Wizard in the back, slowing things down. He has 35% slow right there, so the Lava Hound's not doing any damage at all to the tower. But that Miner comes in to support the Lava Pups that are just going to pop right now.
Will we see, oh no, I was going to say, will we see Arrows trying to clip Skeleton Army and Princess, but just a log.
That Hog Rider just keeps bypassing everything. Gets the Tombstone, doesn't do quite as much damage. Even the Mega Minion hitting the tower or the Hog Rider, that Hog Rider still got 1 strike off, and he's slowly chipping away with that Hog Rider, but the Pups just popped.
I gotta assume that the Hog deck has like a lightning spell or something that he can't justify using because he's only seeing the Mega Minion or the Rocket or something like that, because if it was Arrows, he'd be throwing it at the Hound. If it was Zap, he'd be zapping the Pups.
Yeah, there we go. So we got the log.
Is it log Rocket? If it is, he's getting close.
There is a very high chance there could be a Rocket in this deck just because the tower hasn't been justified.
Yeah, there's been no reason yet. Okay, this is a good push here. Oh.
Lightning on the Hog Rider.
Oh, the log missed that Hog Rider, I think.
That was a very expensive log mistake.
Let's see if there's a Rocket. Oh,
there
maybe.
is a Rocket.
Oh, man.
That is your 11th prediction for today. You need to collaborate with me to make an OJ video on how to predict these decks, because there's actually a really complicated thought process when you're kind of thinking about that.
I'm kind of just thinking out loud, but I don't say, obviously, everything going through my head, but it's just, kind of going through the situations like, would I have thrown this or this? And then you have to look if it was like a Lightning or Rocket and it's not justifiable. Maybe if you had some other air support with the Hound, it would have came out earlier in the match, but pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, just like the way they're playing these certain cards, and it just kind of all adds up together, and that's your 11th prediction. You haven't done anything wrong.
Better than me. All right, so that was the first one.
They're just kind of building up their decks right now.
Yeah.
And I believe the loser has to change to the second deck. Is that right?
I don't know.
I know that they only have 2 decks. So.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we've been seeing some subtle and dramatic variations.
So they're about to start the match. We're going to put that
got.
onto the screen. Both of them sitting at 10 elixir. Going in with an aggressive Miner just to chip away. Is he just going to leave it alone? No, those archers are going to prevent some damage. And now he's going to have to deal with those archers.
What kind of cards would you justify rocketing a tower to take out to just deal some damage if you're sitting at 10?
It would have to be at least 4 elixir worth of cards for me.
Okay.
It really depends on the situation, though. The tower health, your opponent's hand, and everything. And that princess right there is just so much value taking out the pups. Despite him having an Inferno Tower, that lightning just took it out so fast.
So we've seen both players change, right? Yeah. Interesting here. The Miner control instead of the Hog Rider. We don't know all of it, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So the Tombstone is out of rotation. So Rom could play a Hog Rider if he has it right now.
Nice skeletons.
Just value kiting right there, pulling the Mega Minion for 1 elixir.
It's almost just sad watching it just slowly try to look at the skeletons as it goes across the arena.
So futile.
Yeah. Like, please come back.
So with the Miner chipping away slowly at these towers, anything could happen, especially with the Lava Hound push. It's just one big push could win the game. 25 seconds until there's double elixir time, so it could be some heavier pushes.
And we've seen that placement on the Inferno before in the last couple days here. It tanks for the pups quite well after it takes down the Lava Hound. If it was in a different spot right now, the pups could have been on the tower while the Mega Minion was dealing with that Miner.
Just look at how far the pups had to travel before it could reach the Mega Minion. So that was a very calculated plan on the Inferno Tower, just to tank everything. And planting it so front forward allowed that Inferno Tower to engage onto the lava and reach max damage faster.
Would you say that's a little riskier because if the Hound is backed up by something?
Absolutely. It was a lot more riskier, but it wasn't double elixir at the time, so it wasn't quite as much risk.
Double elixir, double the risk.
Exactly. It's very fast-paced. Princess, is she going to get logged, or is he just going to leave it be?
Oh, she's going way wide. It's actually kind of better she targeted the archers.
Miner going in, tanking for the pups. Rom was forced to fireball, but 2 pups still survive. That 1 pup just doing so much damage to the tower.
And you know he wants that fireball to be going down when he sends the Miner in, but he had to use it on defense there.
That's a very aggressive frontal plant for the Princess. He was forced to use arrows for the first time. He didn't have time to react.
And what will we see out of his last card that we haven't seen yet here? Oh, lightning comes raining down. The Inferno still stands.
With that luck,
he's got a fireball. Yep.
He had to fireball those pups.
Oh, the log was the last card, but he can't get it deployed to where it hits the tower. And right now, it is 346, the magic number, which is in range. All we have to do is wait for 6 elixir.
Unless he loses to that tower. No, that was quite a close match. And
that was good.
One of the biggest points in that game was when he got attacked by that Miner. And he had skeletons to counter it. And Mega Minion to chip the Miner, but that Miner still did over 200 damage, bringing the tower down to 250 health.
Yeah.
And the Lightning does 346 damage at tournament standard.
It seems like that's the hot number when it comes to game-ending spells lately. Lightning's been quite the game decider.
Lightning just getting the tower down to 346, and you're almost guaranteed. Of course, we've seen some crazy comebacks today.
Yeah, there's been just like, what did we call it? It was the Trimax match. We were calling it like, oh man, he's just going to get lightning cycled. And then he came back and won because of that constant at the bridge pressure. Just crazy stuff.
Bowler on the front. And then he eventually cycled to that and
then he lightninged for the win, I think.
He did.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
I'll
take it.
For the next 2 minutes, I was 100% sure that Trimax was going to lose. But he didn't give up, he didn't falter, and he got the tower somehow.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we're going to be in for a surprise here. These aren't blowouts at all. Very close 1-0 wins. Or no, the first one, they both took towers. Yeah, it was 2-1, 2-1, and then 1-0.
Very close. So we're going to be jumping into the match right now. For the third match, the scores are 1-1. Princess in the back doing princess things. It's kind of interesting how Ivan prefers to plant the Mega Minion in the middle. It makes it easier to kite with skeletons and everything else when he's not planted on the edge.
Yeah, he can get very aggressive how left those skeletons are in the arena.
Very aggressive. Mega Minion coming on the right side, minions on the left side with the Miner to tank for 2 minions. Unfortunately, that Mega Minion does tank that 1 minion, so the tower does not suffer much damage at all.
Let's see what his answer is. A Miner and Mega Minion right back. Minion Horde. Okay, every type of minion is in that deck.
Fireball missed 1 minion, but that's okay because that tower is going to take it out with no sweat. Looks like Rom has been slowly chipping away. He did get that miner to deal some chip damage and then fireball. So it's at 1700 health right now. So it could be pretty even.
So he's got almost an all-air deck with the miner. We know Rom has that same deck unless it's miraculously one different card. So his log's really not going to be that useful in this match here. He can push the miner, but justifying that is going to be kind of hard.
Yeah, he does have the Inferno planted right there. So once it pops, he's going to send in the miner just like that.
Mega Minion. That was a good way to shut that down without having to bring his fireball out. Now he could bring the miner fireball back to him again, and that's going to add up to more damage.
Yep, he has 3 elixir now to send in the miner right there. Perfect timing for the Mega Minion, but that miner gets countered by that Mega Minion very hard. And that log taking out that Ice Spirit, not bad.
That Mega Minion, it won't make it if there's no other support. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay.
As long as it's been hit at least once, then the tower can take it out. Again with that
super aggressive Inferno.
Exactly.
That's as far as you can put it along the wall.
It actually is
because of the
rock.
rock.
Run rock.
Yeah. That's an expo position almost.
That miner's still slowly chipping away. Those skeletons were planted a little bit too late for the miner to target the
So
skeletons.
Rom's ideal push could be coming up right here. It's miner, fireball, princess, Mega Minion. That's exactly what he wants, that combo. It was perfect. Because then the princess can splash. Oh, the minions are going to take it out.
What a nice plan on the edge. The Inferno locked onto the Lava Hound instead of the minions. So that Mega Minion's going to clip away at all those pups and everything in one shot.
He has to use the fireball defensively. So when you see the fireball go off defensively, Rom's defense didn't go exactly to plan. Well, more like Ivan figured out a way to master that wall Inferno.
Exactly. It's a very close match right now. He's planting a bit of a more aggressive Lava Hound this time.
That princess is going to walk away.
He might lightning the Inferno Tower this time. Right there.
And here comes that miner.
And those skeletons just distracting that Mega Minion with such value.
There we see the log. I was going to say it's going to be rare to see it played, but that was a desperation log because he knows he can't get it within lightning range.
Yep, 346 health, and he's in trouble. Actually, he just needs to send in the log and the lightning again, so he's just cycling back to the lightning by planting those Mega Minions in the back.
Yeah, he's probably just going to avoid the Lava Hound. Yep. There it is.
There you go. Playing the cheapest cards that he had just to cycle back to the lightning.
All right, so Ivan up 2-1. Very close games. I don't know. That wall-mounted Inferno defense versus the miner fireball push onslaught.
It was. And the reoccurring theme in that was that he kept sending in the miner, and it was slowly chipping away at everything.
Yep.
And every now and then, every second Lava Hound push, maybe 2 or 3 pups would get onto the tower, and then it chip it very slowly. So it wasn't quite a big push.
Yeah, and every time he had to fireball on defense, there was always a random number of pups left. It's kind of hard when you have like a Mega Minion in one spot and the tower to predict where they're all going to be and or hit them all. But this has been some Tier 1 Lava Hound gameplay and Tier 1 Miner gameplay.
Yeah, we can expect no less from Ivan and Rom.
Yeah, these guys know what's up. This is going to be, I can already tell, this fourth group here, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see some cool stuff. I don't want to say something yet, but I'll say it when we're watching, if we watch Surgical Goblin, and he told me something funny before this. You'd laugh at it. We're just waiting for them to queue up their next decks.
Yeah,
and our seats are rumbling.
So we have Just Dance in the back right now, and it's magnitude 4 right now.
Since it is later in the day, if you guys are just joining us for the first time all weekend or all day, ESWC today is putting on day 2 of day 3. The final will be tomorrow. It's their first time broadcasting Clash Royale from Paris Games Week. It's the 6th time they've put on events here. Just Dance, Street Fighter, CSGO, and I don't know if the Overwatch was the Overwatch.
Overwatch was there. Blizzard was there.
Yeah.
So speaking about that, what were the prizes for tomorrow's?
Yeah, we got cut off right before these matches here. It's going to be 5,000 for first, 2,500 for second, 1,500 for third, and 1,000 for fourth. So
total of $10,000 for the 4 contestants,
yeah.
And 16 of them are going to compete. Of those 4 groups, the top 4 were selected.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very heated. They might define a bit of the meta tomorrow.
Tomorrow, hopefully we get our sneak peeks done as early as all I gotta say, because we're gonna have a hype of a day tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. These guys look so concentrated right now.
I think they're calculating on who to counter who, so they're thinking, I'm going to counter this, so I'm going to play rock, but he's going to play paper, so I'm going to play scissors, but he knows that I'm going to play that, so I'm going to play rock again.
I thought he was really good with the hog rocket.
That was a very good play, so we're going to be jumping right into the match right now. Again with the Mega Minion in the middle. How do you feel about that?
I see what you're saying. It goes towards the center like a hound, but seems to be okay with it.
Very interesting Lava Hound. He could play a very aggressive Inferno Tower in the middle. Looks like he might have said oops.
Drops it right on the tower there.
Yeah.
Those pups don't have to go far once they take it out, so he has to put a Mega Minion
This
down.
time, Rom has guards to counter the Miner. He must have been very frustrated at the Miner chip damage from the last game, so he's like, all right, I'm never letting the Miner hit me again, so I'm bringing in the guards.
And that whole push with arrows, look how much damage it does. Not even 100.
Yep. Now they're both queuing up. Ivan will have the Lava Hound in rotation after one card, or two cards. Expo,
oh,
yes!
Here we go. Okay, Expo. It has all the telltale signs of it. Fire Spirit's going to take out the minion horde. The log won't do much. Oh, they don't take it out. I was pumped. You could tell. But look at even with the minions sitting on it.
He was forced to play minions too because the Fire Spirits did clip some of those minion hordes. So that one Expo locking onto the tower did over 1,000 damage. Just under 1,000 actually, but...
Yeah. Within 40, so we can't blame you.
Yep. I just got too excited there. So he does have two more cards.
You gotta take that pulp out. Inferno Tower Expo classic combo. If he sees the Hound coming and he puts the Expo down, he can put the Inferno Tower just in front of it. But with that situation, you don't have to because it's locked on the tower and there's no zap in the other deck. There is Lightning, which will reset it, but he doesn't have a ground troop for it to target because he has an all-air deck.
I could be in trouble for that. Despite that Lightning shaving off 70% of that Expo's health, it still did 1,000 damage right there. So with the Inferno, that Lava Hound is just going to get destroyed if that Mega Minion doesn't take it out in time. Miner going in, and Rom mispredicts the guards, so that Miner does slowly chip away at it. But it's not a big deal because he's at a huge advantage right now.
But there's a full-blown Mega Minion right there.
Oh, no.
That's as bad as having a mini peck on your tower.
4 hits on the tower. That was insane amount of damage.
I'm going to call it now. He's got a rocket.
There's a high chance he's just going to let it rock right now, so...
The log and rocket are pretty common in this Expo deck. I wonder if he modified it because he knows there's not much to log.
Yeah, and
it could very well be a fireball as well.
There could be a chance. You might be right on that where there's a log, but he's playing an all-air deck, so the only thing that he can log is the Miner.
Fireball comes
right
out.
There. And with that Expo targeting the tower, there's no chance for Ivan to come back from there. Rom takes the win for the second round, so the scores are going to be 2-2 now.
What a way to start Group 4.
Yeah.
2-2, and we've seen Hog Rocket, we've seen Expo Fireball, some Miner Control, and a lot of Lava Hounds.
Yeah, we've basically seen most of the categories in this one match just right now.
You could say Ivan is Houndini.
I guess so.
You can tell we haven't slept much last night, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the next one in just a few here. What do you think they're bringing out for Game 5?
I'd like to see the Hog Rider again.
Yeah.
That was just such great value with making his opponent on his rotation. So he knew what cards his opponent had and knew when to play the Hog Rider.
I'd say if you're worried the Expo is not leaving, add the Tombstone to your deck.
Yeah.
It'll distract it at least a little bit. And maybe take out minions or minion horde because that's a lot of overkill air.
He did need some sort of ground tank. In my opinion, if he had an Ice Golem, that would have been just perfect.
Yeah.
Ice Golem and Lightning, 8 Elixir, it would defend the Expo and buy him some more time.
Definitely. A little bit of chatter between the two. Well, I don't know.
So they're just sorting things out right now, but their match should be coming up very soon.
Yeah, so what else have we been seeing that's been crazy today?
I haven't seen enough Rockets today. I love Rocket, and I remember when the leaderboards in January were the highest person was at 2,500, and I managed to get to 2,000 with just a rocket.
Oh.
It was back when there was you could put every spell in your deck. So I had Rocket, Fireball, all these spells in the deck, and back then the spells did 60% damage to your tower, and within a week, that deck that I don't want to say I made it, but I did play it a lot, and within a week it already got nerfed just because everyone was playing it. So they nerfed every single spell from 60% down to 40%.
That reminds me of the beta before the game was out where they didn't do reduced damage.
Even worse than that.
When you could just Mirror Rocket, Lightning, just cycle the King Tower. You didn't even go for an Arena Tower.
What else from beta was there? Because
I mean, I guess there was killed cards. There was more defensive action. There was a giant bomb, like the skeleton drops, but just as a bomb.
I heard that there were traps. Is that true?
The giant bomb, you would just place it down and it would blow up with everything coming in.
That is nuts.
It was it promoted way too much defensive gameplay.
So is that the same giant bomb that the giant skeleton had?
It looked more like the one from Clash of Clans.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was pretty fun to play. It's just like you had spells like Rocket and that to just shut down pushes, and it was miserable to face.
I noticed that after the global launch that they've kind of deviated away from defensive decks where Tesla dominated, Giant Skeleton dominated. Giant Skeleton used to set off in 1 second and that could just deny everything coming in. I remember back in March, I would draw half my games and it was...
Yeah, I guess that isn't the best experience, so
and
probably
especially
better.
If I'm trying to farm for 10 crown chests,
yeah.
it would take me 4 hours because I kept drawing with everyone being so defensive. So
you could still draw quite a bit if you know what you're doing and you're facing higher levels and you shut them down, but you just don't have the card levels to get to the tower. What do you think about a legendary defense? Now we have 9. After Inferno Dragon, it was a complete deck. With the Graveyard, we have 1 extra. You have to make your own.
Funny you're speaking about that because in PhoneCats' chat, Clash Royale, the official Supercell account, actually commented on there and they started answering some questions.
Oh.
And one of the questions that they answered was, have you guys considered building a legendary building? And they said that is in consideration, possibly. So they're working it out. They might not release it if it's too overpowered, but
that'd be sweet though.
They're kind of experimenting.
You've got spells and troops. It could be a spawn or it could be a defense. I don't know. If it spawned legendary units, what if it spawned a random legendary unit like every 30 seconds?
That would have to cost 11
elixir. That would have to
elixir.
be in a funny mode or something.
Yeah. They should have a funny mode.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Lava Hound.
Yep.
That would be hilarious. Minor, but then it's in the back of your base. All right. It looks like we're back up in action. There must have just been something going on here. They're just going to be queuing up for their next battle here in just a few. Rom has requested, and we'll be... they're starting up. Want to go ahead and spectate that? Yep, and then we'll throw that on the screen for you.
Jumping into the final match with both scores at 2-2.
Oh,
going in with the Goblin Barrel, completely different deck Ivan is playing. Despite there being a Princess and a Mega Minion, that Goblin Barrel still did 300 damage. It looks like Ivan could be carrying a Zap Bait deck with Minion Horde and Skarmy, but we haven't seen that quite yet, so it's a little bit too early to say. But that's usually my first instinct when I see such an aggressive Goblin Barrel off the bat.
Yeah, and then when I saw the Inferno, I thought if he plays that Expo again, he's going to punish him with the Inferno on it right there, because unless you get a good prediction, it shuts it down most of the time.
Very interesting. He's playing a Frontal Princess. I haven't seen a Princess in this kind of Zap Bait deck yet in this tournament.
Miner to the front. Goblin Barrel deep. No, just a little deep.
And the arrows shut down that Miner as well. It's very rare to see the arrows do so much damage to a tank or to finish off a tank. Is that Mega Minion going to get one hit off? No. Ivan's not going to let him do it.
He doesn't
with
have arrows or Princess, but he has Log.
So they're both running low-cost cycle decks with Zap Bait in there.
Bunch of fans on the field doing confetti things. And then there's the Princess.
In the back doing Princess things. Hog Rider going in the middle. I wonder why.
I've seen that a lot, and I don't know if it's so it can get to the defense that they're going to put down quicker.
Yeah. But usually you only do that if you know they have a defensive structure. So that Miner in the back from...
Like an Inferno.
Yeah. That miner is just doing so much chip damage with that princess. Ivan applying constant pressure. The log doesn't allow that Goblin Barrel to do any hits. With both their elixirs so low, they're never at 10 elixir. They're always cycling back and forth, back and forth. But Ivan's going to reach 10 elixir first, and he's going to make the first move, possibly with a princess in the front, just like that.
Ouch, the other princess is walking away. A couple tiles forward, and she would have been locked for a draw. Now, I guess the Ice Wizard is good against the minion horde.
And Rom just mispredicted that miner plan, so it's going to cost him a couple hits.
He's playing the Ice Wizards down, but that's really, I think, his best bet for a minion horde.
That was a very interesting arrow from Ivan's part.
Just that
Inferno Tower and Skeleton Army. There's no way that Hog is going to get past.
Rom just threw arrows as well at the Inferno Tower looking for the Scar Army, and it came out after.
Ivan planted the miner in the same spot twice in a row, but let's see if he'll change it up, because that's very critical. Not that it matters, because he takes the tower with the Goblin Barrel.
Wow, he let this tower go because he knew he could get back to the Hog before the Inferno was up, but the minion horde shut it down nonetheless, and Ivan takes this one 3-2. That was like watching a chess match where they were looking at what the person was going to do 3 cards down the line. They weren't playing what was on the field at all.
Yeah, they were just trying to outpredict each other's predictions.
And
are they going to play Skeleton Army? Because I need to predict the arrows, but I need to predict his arrows, so I'm going to plant down a miner instead.
Like the fact that they both dropped princesses at the same time, it's almost like he was waiting for him to drop. It was crazy. That was. It's only going to get crazier as we get closer to Sunday. One
of the biggest pivotal points in that game in the last game, was when Ivan planted down that Goblin Barrel, and it's got so much damage off because he didn't have any answers to it. And the princess in the front did get some chip damage off, slowly but surely throughout the whole game.
And then there was just a couple random things like the one princess walking away, some things where he could have avoided using.
Rom's princess.
Saving a couple cards, Well, that's going to do it for that one. That's going to be round 1. We could take a look at the other players, but we're going to be having another matchup here in just a little bit.
Yep.
Anything else for this one to analyze?
It was pretty back and forth with their cycles.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked this series in the beginning. I didn't really. The ending was just crazy cycling, but
it was.
The Lava Hound gameplay, the Hog Rocket. Hog Rocket and Expo were the 2 that got through.
Yeah, in the last game, it was just Ivan's impenetrable Inferno Tower would not let the Hog through. And even if he tried to counter the Inferno Tower with supporting units like a Mega Minion flying across the river, Ivan would still have the Skeleton Army to take care of the Hog anyways. Yeah,
we need that 6% Inferno Tower in the game, Supercell, please. Don't
November
wait till the 1st.
That's right.
Okay, more people are going to be setting up. Looks like scores are being reported. And I think we'll be back when match 2 is underway, right?
That's right.
All right. So until then, guys, we'll see you for match 2 with our next contestants. Stick around for the rest of Group 4 this afternoon.
Stay tuned.